Hello, I'm Toycat, and I've been playing survival Minecraft on this same world for 7 years now. And one of the crazier things about that process is the fact that I've started to develop a bit of an emotional connection with the world, which is a really absurd thing to say that, oh, you have a bond with a Minecraft world, but what makes it even more absurd is the fact that because I've broadcasted so much of that 7 years on YouTube, a lot of people who have watched the channel and seen some of those Let's Plays or other videos feel the exact same way. A lot of people have seen all these things be built one by one, whether it's the giant anvil, whether it's the giant, swamp village, whether it's the museum, or whether it's the, desert, which has been entirely replaced with torches. A lot of people recognize a lot of these builds, and a lot of people like these builds, and again, feel that exact same bond, which is why today I figured, why not put that bond to the test? Why not do a little bit of a memory trick with that as well, and ask you guys, the subscribers who have recognized this world, to try and rebuild it again from scratch. Because I want to destroy the entire thing. Every single build I want to destroy, level to the ground, have just a void there instead, and then ask some random loyal subscribers to see if they can rebuild it. And again, because this world is so crazy and complex, and let's be honest, it's just bad in some places, right? That should be a really tricky task to do perfectly, so let's see how well people do. So we have destroyed the entirety of the Minecraft world, with the one caveat that I've left my house and the surrounding area intact, or the surrounding one block intact, just because of the fact that one, I mean, this is one of the great builds of Minecraft, right? I mean, it's one of the best things anyone's ever done in the game. It's absolute beauty and perfection, and we couldn't destroy it even if we wanted to. But more seriously, it's because we need an anchoring point. I mean, if we ask people from scratch, then it's going to be hard to say what's where, but this is going to be the one part of the world that is faithfully, or mostly faithfully, the same, and everything else is what people are going to be able to change. So yeah, this is going to be the part from which people have to build everything else, and let's see how well people can do it, I guess. So what I did is I tweeted out saying you can join the realm right here. So I asked that if anyone knew the Let's Play world, then they should perhaps join my world for a secret project. So maybe it goes without saying, but a lot of people join very quickly, but they're all in the middle of nowhere because it's a big void, and I accidentally set the spawn in the wrong place. So let's set the world spawn to the correct place. So here is everyone right here. Let's go. Let's rebuild the Toycat Let's Play world. I've even put up a lectern where people can read that exact fact, as you can see right here. Build my Let's Play world exactly how it is in videos. Thanks. Easy. So I am very excited to see how this goes. I mean, this guy has just immediately misunderstood how building works. I mean, that's not how you enter the Let's Play world house, but you know, actually, you know, let's let someone else patch that up. Let's see how well people can actually do this. So the first person to do anything is Metro Mist, who's making a big bit of, I guess, dirt over here. I guess there is a big patch of like dirt to the right of my house. There's also a big forest over here that I hope he's going to account for, but we'll see. Again, collectively, we're trying to test people's knowledge and their memory, really, and I guess we'll see how well they can do this. This guy right here has got a very concerning skin. He asked me if I liked it, and the answer is I don't think so, if I'm being honest. So something I didn't figure I'd have to do is kick people from the realm. There are some people who clearly have never watched anything, because they're like, oh, there's a little hut in the middle of nowhere using blocks I literally don't have anywhere in my Let's Play world, stripped spruce logs, especially not right here next to the house. And you'd know that if you'd watched a single episode, so clearly hashtag not a true fan, therefore we'll kick him for now at least, because again, we're trying to make the experiment using people who have watched the video, because it's fun if you get something wrong because you misrecall, but if you literally don't have anything to recall, then that's not the same. So yeah, we kicked the guy, and we'll hope that other people destroy the rest of this. But for now, let's see what everyone else does. I asked people what they were building right now, and they insist they're building my animal farm. So if you compare this to what it looks like in my Let's Play world, it's impressive that so close to spawn there's such a big deviation. And yeah, I was expecting the talk about like how memory is unreliable to come up much later. But here we can see like this is so astoundingly different in every single way. But the person building it insists that this is how my farm looks. See, it's pretty impressive. The farm is exactly the same on the inside, like it's a lot of cows, like all, trapped together. But as far as the outside goes, I have no idea how like everyone has this collective delusion. And it's this interesting thing where like you might think your memory is perfect because your memory never knows when it's not perfect. When your memory is wrong, it's very rare you get called up on it. And when you find out that you're directly wrong, you kind of internalize and you're like, oh, I was just, I was mistaken, but now I've got the real memory. It's very rare that you actually call out your memory on being incorrect. And because of that, everyone's just collectively agreed that like, oh yeah, this is how the farm really looks. So I'm not sure if these people know they're wrong, or, if they're just like, oh yeah, well, we're not building it perfectly to scale, because it looks like they're building the insane sugarcane farm, but they're building it wrong in terms of its actual layout, in terms of its size, and also they're building it right down here at Bedrock, next to my main house. I mean, it goes without saying that's not where it is. I'll leave them to it because at least they're following the spirit of the challenge at least. It's weird watching everyone's imagination, like, collectively combine into one. Like, I do have a dirt house here, but I mean, it's a bit off, but it still roughly fits in place, and when you see other things that look right, you're like, oh, that just must be how that is, and maybe I'm wrong of how I imagine my own world. Same with the farm, same with the fact that, like, right here you can see the bridges are a bit off, but then there's the big, you know, minecart building that looks like it's about the same, because it's just stone bricks, it's hard to really get wrong. It's really fascinating to see all these things come together, and I'm wondering if by the end it's going to look exactly the same, or if it looks like a weird off-brand version, or if it's clear that this was never going to be anything like it was. But yeah, we're about 2 hours into this world now, and I've been watching people the entire time, and it's been a... Also, this guy is made out of stone and mossy cobblestone. What is this skin? But anyway, people like the man wearing stone and mossy cobblestone. You know, they've been building this entire time, and it's been interesting to watch because everyone has a really good idea until they don't. There's moments where people are just like flummoxed, like, this is meant to be the Banker Toy Cat, except it's way too thin. And, you know, some of these things are correcting themselves. Like, someone finally took the bold stance that the farm looked like this. Again, still wrong, but better than it was before. It's just, it's fascinating that we all these memories are coming together in very different, very erroneous, if we're being honest. Like, even if you gave me a year to study this map exclusively, like you said you'd kill me if I didn't do it, or like I could get superpowers if I did, whatever ridiculous scenario where I had to memorize everything, I wouldn't get it perfect. I could probably get close to perfect with enough months or years of study, but the fact that, like, you know, all these people with just, you know, their passive experiences of having watched, you know, how many tens or hundreds of episodes, trying to all rebuild their memory together, it's really, really interesting to see. So something I wasn't expecting, but that has totally happened, is that people have been also recreating the end perfectly. People have been covering the end in glass, and that's super nice. Or concerning, I mean, whichever way you want to see things, really. So something else you can see that is not necessarily directly related to memory, but it is an interesting, like, flaw in the way we perceive things, is when you look at something like, say, this giant tower, it's in my Let's Play world, it's very visible all the time, but you think of it as a square, and you think of it as being this wide, this way, this wide, that way, and because you don't often think of it as being a rectangle, your brain sees it as a square, and even when on the inside, it doesn't make any sense. Like, there's a lot of stairways going both ways here, and even though it might make more sense if it was a square, making it as a square is a big, big, big mistake that, again, no one can realize, because you look at it and you're like, oh, that looks about right, that looks roughly how I visualized it. Because again, when you visualize things, you have to simplify them. When you picture the Earth, you picture a sphere, right? The Earth isn't a sphere, it's spheroid, like there are lots of bumps in and out, but you picture a sphere because it's so much simpler than trying to imagine, like, oh yeah, well, there's a bump when you go near, you know, like the Midwest of America, or there's a bump, you know, like, you know, there's little cliffs here and there, like parts that go up and down. There's lots of parts of the Earth that go in and out. The Earth isn't a sphere, but you imagine it that way. So a bunch of people made this giant shrine to me. They made it underneath my house. And, you know, as much as I'd love to say this is a cool little shrine or whatever, the other part of me wants to say, you know what? When forcing people to build my world, you don't get to build stuff like this, even though I totally could be reasonable. I've said this before, and I'll say this again. People expect, like, oh yeah, well, this is like a democracy toy cat. You've got to have rules and reasons, like, there's got to be checks and balances in your power. No, this is dictatorship. What happens if I don't like what you're doing on my realm, my experiment? I'll ban you, because there's no expectation that I don't. So something I wasn't expecting people to dedicate much time to is down here at the very bottom of the world. Someone has been placing bedrock and making it like this, and there's no fill command available to everyone else, so they have been doing this manually, block by block, and even in creative, that's a lot of effort, right? Like, someone's going through a lot of manual labor just to have a bedrock floor down here, which doesn't actually change too much, but in my opinion, it's beautiful that they're going through the effort anyway. Also beautiful is, the fact that our terrain is just about coming together. Again, it's filled with errors and problems, and like, it's not correct, but the fact that it's coming together even very loosely, there's something to be said for that, right? Hey, look, someone realized there's meant to be a little river here, and they've started working on it a little bit. And also someone realized there's not meant to be trees where the bank is. There is actually a surprising amount of progress. There's things that I don't even know where they came from, like, is there a little sugarcane hill here? Was there at any point a sugarcane hill there? I don't believe so. But again, it seems to be, I was expecting, like every other round we've done so far, the continual direction would be downhill, 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 with a few peaks as we go along. But this one seems to be, every time we go downhill, we go uphill just as much, if not more, which is good, you know? uphill for the first time ever. Let's take a moment and celebrate that. See, this guy right here is literally just built himself a prison cell. Like, a lot of other people are like, yeah, I'm gonna make my own house. This guy has literally just made a cell for himself. His dream, his fantasy in my Let's Play world is to have a prison cell for himself. And I don't know what that says about his character, but, you know, ban regardless. So another bizarre project that's being recreated seems to be the Nether being covered in grass. That's a nice little touch. That's something that isn't in 100% finished as we're doing this, but people are still trying to recreate it at least a little bit. That's fun in my opinion. By the way, this guy's username is I am on a game, and I love that someone got the gamer tag I am on a game. Like, that is such a beautiful gamer tag right there. I don't know why I find this so amusing, but again, it's so close to being correct and then so horrifically far away. The swords are facing the wrong way, they're not made of the right material. Like, the idea is correct, but then the execution is wrong. And I could probably spend all video talking about like, oh, isn't it interesting how like everyone has the same ideas? But it is, because it manifests itself in such a different way each time. And it's a reminder that we're all living in different worlds. We all think we live in the same world, right? Like, oh yeah, we live on Earth and it's 2019 for all of us. But the truth is we all are seeing the world through different eyes, and we're relating it to different memories in our head. And when we communicate in a common language, in a common set of ideals. But what's going on in our own heads, what we're imagining, is so different. And that's kind of funny to me. So let's just point them in the right direction, shall we? Okay, so this is one of the most puzzlingly incorrect... Again, I don't know why. It's so fascinating to me to see how people get things incorrect. But here is my cave house, the one I live in. As you can see, they've got this entrance, wrong direction by the way, but fine. They've got the Nether portal going down just okay. We've got the entrance to the house using a double door instead of a single door, whatever I guess. Then there's a chest room over here. Then everything is just off. I don't know how they got this so wrong. And then look at the placement. It's a cave they decided to place in the middle of nowhere. There's no mountain that the cave is built into. They just built the surrounding caves wrongly, in the middle of the wrong place, in the wrong directions, and then got every single detail wrong. Like, why is the glass in front of a mountain? In my head, this can't be a real idea of what my house looks like, right? Because it's so incorrect in every way, and multiple people made this, and I don't know, it's kind of shocking. Also, you know, wait, we could talk about everything all day, but for now, let's leave people, let's give them some time, and let's see what they do. So it has officially been just over 12 hours of having people rebuild my world for me, and admittedly I wasn't here for some of the last 6 hours, and because of that I think things went at a very different pace and a very different direction, because it seems as though a lot of people just decided, you know what, even though the rules say we should rebuild this, I'd rather much do something else, and therefore you have like this battle between people building things they shouldn't and people destroying it, and you can see all over the place things that probably shouldn't be here, and then there are lots of things that should be there, but they're in such an awfully wrong place that I think everyone knows, but no one's like too sure and able to like call it out. And I think that's a, you know, fascinating element of authority, right? Like, you know, this shouldn't be here, I don't think, but also I don't have the authority to destroy an entire structure. It'll look like I'm doing something wrong, right? And yeah, it's fascinating looking over the entire world and seeing elements of my Let's Play here and there, but also entirely wrong. And also, like, you can see, people try to make a nice environment, but it's, you know, my world doesn't have a nice environment. It doesn't have flowers everywhere or a house floating. That's a cool idea. I should have a house floating in the middle of nowhere, but I don't have one right now. And yeah, you can see how the world looks better than my world, and that's why it's inaccurate. Also, there's a guy in here right now called Communist Cake 2. If you look, somehow his picture, his Xbox Live profile picture, is a hammer and sickle. How does that pass whatever, you know, Xbox quality controls there are? And, you know, like, why and how are the two big questions there? Like, I can never quite get over the fact that our brains would rather have a consistent lie than an inconsistent truth, and you can see that happen in this world, but rather than me just saying it and, you know, showing you later with some post-edit cuts where, you know, hopefully it lines up what I'm saying, what if we now did something kind of fun and went around both at the same time? So here is me on the same screen. I can see this as well. On the left, here is my Let's Play world uploaded to a realm as of, you know, the time of recording this, you know, episode 402 in case you're curious. And on the right here, you're seeing, oh, this is the world that we have built in creative with, you know, all the people that came and left, you know, hundreds of people at this point. Let's see what the differences are like between the two worlds. Although actually, sun is about to set here, so we'll wait till the sun rises. Okay, I've decided to add a cave into the background of the shot, but now let's see side by side my real world here on the left, and then my fake world, my knockoff, world that came from China, a little bit deformed on the right here. Because again, at the surface glance, everything seems just about fine. Like the staircase is there. Again, there's a few blocks added, but it's fine. Looking at the animal farm, for instance, you can see like, oh yeah, it's the same rough shape. I mean, it's vaguely an L. And then if we look further to the right and we see the beacon, again, it's actually like impressively enough done. Like, oh yeah, there is a beacon there. I mean, the beacon's missing in my Let's Play world, so this is actually more accurate on the right here than in my Let's Play world because I had to take it to use for other things. Long story on that. But then as we look at things any amount further away, it's like, so that over there is the Wither Church. It's a bit far away, but that's odd. That over there is my Nether portal. Again, it's facing the wrong way, but they watched old videos maybe and they haven't seen where I reversed it in some background gameplay. Sure, fine, whatever. Actually, not. This one looks weird, doesn't it? You know, I'm realizing my Let's Play world doesn't look like my Let's Play world now because I'm so used to the copy that I'm looking at the left being like, is this the fake? It's not the fake, but it looks kind of fake. If we look towards the spawn house over there, you can see, again, it looks roughly accurate, but you can see it's way too far away. For instance, if you look at my little river over here, this is also horrifically, like this is just wrong, right? Like this is an updated aquatic river. For some reason, there's no fish in mine. Is there fish? There's no fish in there for some reason in my world, but there is over there. It's way deeper in the real version because, again, I never look down there. People have no idea what's down there, so their memory just made up something and they put it there instead, and it's fascinating to see that in this side by side. Next up, if we head along the left here, along this little pathway, which we'll try and do at the same time on the same speed, just for fun. So if we go down this same pathway on the right and on the left simultaneously, you can see how, like, oh yeah, there is some key differences. There are so many key differences. No one remembered my random rails, which I don't even know why I have them there if I'm being honest, but no one in the world remembered that because they're not significant. You don't remember every single detail. Your brain can't possibly process every single detail. So instead, you're just like, oh yeah, this is about right. And again, I didn't know that this was here until I made this little comparison right now. I was wrong about my own memory as well, because turns out a lot of us are. Something that is impressive is we got this little junction going right. I guess I've gone down it enough times. But then on the right here, it just kind of stops, whereas in the real world, it goes over to a mountain. There is still a mountain in the fake version, as you can see. Once we go past the sugarcane farm, just over here, we have a mountain. Let's climb to the top of it. Just over here, we do in fact have a mountain next to a lighthouse, and again, you can see here it's actually perfectly flat. That was actually a big part of my world, making this mountain perfectly flat, whereas it seems as though in the creative world, people just assume like, I can't see what's up there, it must be beautiful like this. No, it's perfectly flat. That was a big thing from videos. Then there are so many other elements of this world that are entirely out of place, like this giant cobblestone cube. If you want to know what that is, let me show you the equivalent of how like badly placed this is. So yeah, this is the spawn area. About 400 blocks to the north, maybe even further than that, we have ourselves some of the most ridiculous things to make in survival. I just had a lot of cobblestone. I wanted to make something big, something like something that stood out as like easy to make, but also kind of, astounding. So here is the cobblestone cube. You can see the distance on that is pretty absurd as far as how far away it is. Same with the sugarcane farm. Like, I don't have 4 sets of scaffolding. Also, it's much bigger in the real world. It's interesting. Even though they had access to creative, they still couldn't build something as large as I made in survival with 12 hours and 10 people. Like, even with all those people, it was impossible to make something this big, which I think is kind of like a little cool nudge to like, that's how big of a deal it is. Even with creative, even with commands, you wouldn't be able to make something this big without hours to spend on it, which is a cool little ego boost if you ask me. So something I feel we should focus on is exactly why my house, which by the way, I start half my episodes in, is so horrifically wrong. I don't know how this is even humanly possible, because the window doesn't line up with the cave properly. It's meant to be the only way of letting light in besides these torches. Then it's a double door. I never use double doors in Minecraft. I try not to use them wherever possible, because they're stupid. Why do you want to have 2 doors? It just makes it double as hard to open, and if you open one, then it feels kind of wasteful. I very, very, very rarely use double doors. It's a single door, as you can all see, and there's a torch above it, which is missing over here, whatever. There's also not chests right by the door. Again, don't know how that was a mistake they made. Then if we go down here, it leads to nothingness. Nope, there's another entrance into the cave with a giant red-black thing. Oh, look, here's a double door, by the way. Maybe that's the double door they got confused with. But you can see how, like, you just thought it was a cave that led to nowhere. Okay, that's fine. If we head in, also, there's a sheep farm, there's a potato farm, there's a giant furnace here, there's a cave going down below ground. Okay, we missed those details. Let's look a little bit further this way. Let's see how accurate this is. again, you can see the basis of accuracy is vaguely here. Someone's making a sign, apparently. You can see the basis of accuracy is sort of here. Like, this curved staircase up to the left has just become a flat staircase that goes up here. Again, double door. I don't double door in Minecraft. I try not to. It's not my thing. This is how it actually looks. It's a single door. It's meant to be a rough, like, you know, kind of like in Skyrim, like a weird dwarven mine going down that would look cool on the other side. Then there's a nether portal. Again, wrong direction, ignoring the fact that the whole house is in the wrong direction. Also, I don't have a random corner in here like I do to get out there, but there's no random right angle degree turn here. And then out from there, we go straight to apparently a minecart rail instead of the bamboo farm. Again, it's so horrifically wrong, but someone... I hope they didn't think it was correct, but I do believe that someone who made this was like, yeah, this is how it looks. I've watched so many episodes of the Let's Play, and over that time, their perception, again, it goes to show that we all think we live in the same world. We all think we share the exact same stuff, but look at this. This is people's perception. This is reality. Can you see the difference between these two things? It's absurd, right? But that's because of the fact that, you know, when I see a house, my brain is just inserting like house there, and I'm seeing a house if I need to see the house, but usually I don't need to see a house. And when you see a house, your brain's gonna say like, oh yeah, there is a house here. It's mentally placing that house in the place of what the actual thing is, and we're both seeing different houses, and it doesn't matter most of the time because we can both communicate that it is a house. But there are so many circumstances where it will become important, and whenever those come up, you'll realize just how different you are. If you're asked to draw something, an example of this, for example, is if you are robbed by someone, if you're, you know, like you see some traumatic crime, you think you know what the perpetrator looks like, and if you're asked to describe him, you'll describe him perfectly in your mind, even though you don't actually remember. Like, some trauma will have stopped you remembering, but you'll think you'll remember it. This guy thought he remembered the melon house, and I think this is one of the better jobs we've seen here, but ignoring the fact that it's in the wrong place and next to a giant minecart rail that doesn't exist, ignoring those facts, you can see how, like, even here there's some issues. Like, he forgot there are windows in and out. He forgot that it's a free wide doorway, and again, even though on the inside, if we look at the exact comparison, it's like, oh yeah, there are some similarities here. Like, we got the same melon things between the chests. There are elements that are entirely right, but because you're so sure of the elements you know are right, you're not sure about the elements you don't think are right. So yeah, today's experiment was a bit of an oddball one. We kind of proved that, one, people do have lots of memories, but those memories are very diverse and different. I think it is so cool that so many people remember so many different builds. Like, again, this is a world which is so important to me. It's really fun and cool and fascinating that it's important to many of you as well, that many of you have watched it as much as I've played it, and I think that is an astounding little fact. However, because today's video ends on a bit too much of a positive note, like, oh look, we accidentally somehow managed to build ourselves a almost good replica. It's good in some ways. Like, this was a video that accidentally went uphill, so what we need to do is we need to do the inevitable, as always happens in these experiments. We're going to leave it running for another 24 hours, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to leave it unsupervised, and we're going to see what people do if I don't give them rules and don't ban them randomly or whatever else. So this might be the most wholesome way this has ever gone. So we left the realm unattended for a significant amount of time with everyone in creative and, you know, basically no way to enforce the rules. But look what happened regardless. Things went well. I mean, admittedly, it's not necessarily following the direct design goal. Like, there isn't a giant statue of me with a crown on my head. There clearly should be with Toy Cat Cult built above it. But yeah, we're going to be just kind of checking out the rest of stuff because apparently someone built the inside from my video. Which video? Like, I guess because it changed? Oh yeah, they put the item frames up rather than just the main chest. That's a cool little thing right there. Even the chests in the weird places. The staircase is missing, but you know, besides that, it's pretty good. It does seem as though the time since we've been gone, so many people have joined and left, but the result has not been a net negative, or maybe it has. I mean, this goes without saying that this is a bit messy, right? Is this meant to be? Wait. Let's activate this. Let's see what it does. Oh yeah, look at that. That is very satisfying. That is very satisfying. You know, this needs to be a thing in my world. This isn't a recreation, but it should be. We've got the saddest Toy Cat face I've ever seen in the world. Toy Cat is, yes, but built out of mob spawners and bedrock. Oof. As well as some weird text, as well as some banners. But again, we've seen much worse. Usually every time it's just lava, water, oh, you made a lot of cobblestone. Wow, that's very unique, very clever. But today, people are building things, again, I'm not going to say I approve of them necessarily. It's not meeting the original design goal, but I guess the fact that they're rebelling against, you know, I'm not going to make the world, I'm going to make nice things instead, seems to have mostly led to a good place. Oh, not much of a place. Like, there's been a big hole destroyed just to write yeet for it. Oh, it says feet now. Okay, you know, it's not yeet, so you got to give them some points for that at least. But yeah, things are wholesomely a little bit arguably better than before, and I don't think that's ever happened. I don't think we've left the realm for so long and had it not go terrible. Like, even look at this amazing little rope bridge. I like it. I like everything about what's going on here. But let's check out the Nether in the end. Because the Nether is covered up with signs saying Toy Cat is yup, so I'm concerned as to what we're going to see on the other side. How do you even make signs that have the hunger sign on? That's something I wasn't even 100% where you could do in Minecraft. And I know you can do some wacky text changing color things and weird symbols from different languages, but apparently you can also do that. This guy has either been copy and pasting or he has a concerning amount of time on his hand. I'm not sure which it is. How did he make these icons on a sign? There is a lot of hacked sign going on here. But, oh, well, look, PS4 confirmed. That's nice, because the buttons are in the game code, if you don't know, from way back in the Bedrock days, because they originally intended to release it on PlayStation 4. Fun fact. But yeah, it seems as though the Nether, it's not the grassland project it once was. Instead, I agree with this build right here, question mark. And then finally, behind the absolutely beautiful, you know, Toy Cat thing, which, again, you gotta be a fan of at least, we have the end portal, which for some reason is on a lonely bit of land. Oh, someone did try placing lava just really far away. Let's go check out this not quite an end portal. And let's see what happened here. Because, oh my god, it's got the same... This guy has got a problem. Like, again, can someone get a therapist on the line for this man? But yeah, we covered the end in glass, mostly at least. It looks like, yeah, oh, some explosions, some fires happened here. But besides that, things kind of happened at least a little bit here. Oh, there's some signs, and there's a wither happening over here, maybe? Let's see what's through the portal. Anything good, or just... Like, I think any aliens that are watching this are gonna be like...
You know what? Humanity sure is a flawed species that always at each other's throats. They're self-interested and married. Again, they don't seem to care about each other. Wait a minute, have you seen Toy Cat's News From video? You know what? Let's not blow up humanity.
So, we did it, guys. We saved the literal Earth by showing that you can have compassion, you can build something together, and you can make a world that doesn't look so terrible. It's very small, and it got its flaws. But you know, we're all humans, we will have our flaws. The fact that we did a thing that was nice regardless counts for something. So make sure that if you did enjoy this video, you like it. If you did like it, share if you really liked it. And make sure to smash that bell, as YouTubers say at the end of videos, so that you see notifications for other videos by those same YouTubers. Because that's a thing that YouTubers generally like. And you know what? I am on YouTube, and therefore that makes me a YouTuber, and therefore you should smash that bell. See, that was some solid logic. I hope you all enjoyed the video, because I'll see you next time. Goodbye.